So hey, we're back down, Sear Performance. Been working on Jason's C10. We did the LS swap from a Yukon, and he kind of wanted sort of a basic swap, but wanted it to look as original as possible. So relocated the battery to the driver's side like it is in the Yukon. The whole harness and everything is pretty much where it would be in a Yukon, using the battery cables off the LS out of the Yukon. And then the ECU, I just mounted it up here, and then behind it is the little standalone fuse box with the relay to control all the ignitions and battery, and the fuel pump is on that relay. And then we use the stock air intake. I did have a filter laying around, but it's got the coolant overflow jug, reservoir, whatever it's called. The only thing we did was we put a set of Hedman Hustler swap headers and a different set of spark plugs on it spark plug wires on there for them. This one is it's drive-by-wire, so the TAC module is mounted down here, and then one harness comes from the ECU. The other harness you can see right down here, this black one, the nice braided one, not the ugly blue one, that runs over into the firewall through an existing grommet. I think it was the throttle cable that I used. I went through there, and then it plugs into the pedal that I mounted against the firewall. And I did use a piece of 1/2-inch aluminum plate and just drilled all the way through to space it off, because it, as much as I bent it straight and over, and you know, being that this is kind of a basic swap, we didn't price the drive-by-wire, which is my fault. But normally what I would do is spend a lot more time, and I would cut this bracket and shift it over so where it's in more of a normal position, not quite so far out and so far over. But like I said, this is kind of a basic swap on it. But we got it all finished up, and then I finished the exhaust today. It's just a mild steel 2.5-inch off the Hedman. It comes 3-inch off the Hedman with the ball flange, so I used like a header collector and reduced it down to the 2.5-inch and went up and over the cross member on this side because this wasn't a dual exhaust truck, and then just used some cheap sort of a Flowmaster knockoff muffler. They're like 30 bucks a piece, 35 bucks a piece or something like that, and then just did some side dumps. But I just used like a 2.5-inch mild steel builder kit, so it comes with 90s, 180 degree bends, all that good stuff, and everything is pretty much hooked up. The power steering hooked right up. That works. We did have to use the spacer for the Turbo 400. This has a Turbo 400 in there. He didn't want to do the like a 4L60 or a 4L80, so you have to use a spacer. I have an extra one, because I always, whenever I order something, I always try and order like 2 of them. You know, if I need one, I'll order 2 of them. So I always have these extra little parts around. This is off of Amazon. It's A-Team LS swap torque converter hub adapter spacer. So this is to go from like the LS1 with the dished flywheel, or any LS with the dished flywheel. You need this to space where the torque converter hub will sit in here, and then the skinny side here, the smaller side, will sit inside the crank. And it's just a spacer to grab the hub of the torque converter. Otherwise you could wobble, the converter can wobble and break your flywheel. We got a bunch of stuff going on. But yeah, I mean, the truck is done as far as what we are contracted for. It's a cool, it's 86. It is a short bed. Needs a lot of work. There's a lot of raw, old repairs that are starting to come undone. The entire interior kind of needs to be redone. I mean, the truck needs a lot of work, but it has potential to be really nice. And I personally, I really like the call them square body look to them. I guess this was kind of a father-son project prior to this guy owning it, and then that fell apart or fell through or whatever happened. Can't stand the rims on it though, but you know, to each his own. So got everything done. We did the fuel pump, all that stuff. We did like a Walbro 255 frame, external, sorry, and -6 Teflon braided up to the rail with the little adapters. But the fuel pump comes on and off controlled by the ECU, just like it is in factory. Starts right up, idle's good, and I did adjust a little bit in the tune. I played a little bit with the idle timing, the under and over speed, to kind of get it to have sort of a little bit of a ham chop, if that's what you want to call it. But these mufflers are pretty good. I mean, they're pretty quiet at idle and kind of part throttle, and then I'll give it a little rip. You know, they don't. Try and set up my phone somewhere. Set it over here. Sorry. Trying to set it up. That didn't work. I'll flip it over. How about that? That kind of worked. Sounds good, revs up good. Does have a bit of smoke. It is a 240,000 mile motor, but it idles perfect. It's absolutely quiet, which is very good. So yeah, I mean, that's Jason's C10. What we do with the LS swaps, try and make them look, we can go from wild to mild. We can make them look as original as it should have been in the truck. Normally, you know, most people opt to do the AC. He didn't want to do the AC. But yeah, normally we can get the AC lines run. It's literally making 2 lines to go down to the LS style compressor that mounts down there. You know, and then mounting the condenser out here, which you can use the stock Yukon condenser behind these grills. There's, can't really see it, but there's a ton of room behind these grills to have the lines come in and out. And I know I've gotten away with, on a couple of builds, gotten away with using the SUV line from the condenser to the compressor, which is this line here. So normally this line would sit, you know, in the SUV, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, sits kind of like that behind the grill. So this would be your evaporator or condenser. and then that runs over right there to your AC compressor. And it normally works pretty good on these. And then you only have to make up the line that goes, the large suction line from the accumulator to the compressor, and then off of the, down there, off of the evaporator to the condenser. Those are the only two lines that you have to make up in that situation. Throw that over there. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. The drips on the floor are not leaks. They are me spilling stuff because I'm good at spilling stuff. So that's it for today. We appreciate you watching. There's more to come on the 35 and on the 33 that's in the other bay, and Zach's Mustang, and we have another Mustang coming. So we got a lot going on. So that's it for today. We appreciate you watching. Hit the like, subscribe, hit the little bell to get notified. Please leave a comment. We appreciate it. Have a good day.